Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, Hurricane Melissa is about to cause havoc on people's cruises leaving out of Florida and the New York area and Boston. Anything along that end going into the Caribbean, especially if you have an Eastern Caribbean cruise booked, you're going to see a lot of changes to that. We have a American state cruise port destination that the cruise lines are now warning that, hey, take a look at your bill because your tax and cruise just went way higher. We have Royal Caribbean is currently building, if you think they're going to slow down on how many cruises they're building, ships like large ships, they currently have 3 mega cruise ships all being built at the exact same time. And finally, we'll talk about what we can expect in 2026 as far as how many people are cruising. If you think cruising is going to slow down next year, well, you might be surprised. So first off, Hurricane Melissa is traveling slowly. It was just a tropical storm, but is expected to hit up to a Category 4 hurricane by Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So the cruise lines aren't taking any chances, and we've had a few notifications saying, hey, your cruise may change at the last minute. It could. Well, forget about the last minute. Some of them are telling us right now. For instance, the Icon of Seas and Celebrities Beyond are going to change their itinerary from an Eastern Caribbean to a Western Caribbean cruise, completely changing that route. As I said, Eastern Caribbean is going to be really affected. We have 2 Disney cruise ships are now changing theirs. One is going to spend 2 days at the private island just to be able to avoid the hurricane path as well, and one's going to Mexico instead. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of changes coming in the next few weeks. Stay tuned. I'll try and keep you up to date with as many ships as possible ahead of time before you're sailing, so you know exactly where you're going, what you're doing. Remember, don't expect any compensation, don't expect money back, don't expect your cruise onboard credits for things like weather. Hurricanes will change courses of cruise lines to keep both the ship, the crew, and the passengers all safe. And I think we kind of have to understand that situation, right? Next, let's talk about Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean, if you thought, well, you know what? They announced that smaller ship, right? They're going to build that smaller ship at some point. Not anytime soon, because they have literally right now building 3 mega ships all at the exact same time. They are currently building the Legend of the Seas, which is set to set sail in summer of 2026. Back in September, they started building the next Icon, Icon 4 right now, because there's no name on it, so we'll call it Icon 4. And then just last week, they broke ground and steel laying ceremony, and they are now building their 7th Oasis class ship. And not only that, they have options to build 2 more Icon class ships, which means there's going to be spots reserved for those ships at the shipyard. They signed a long-term agreement for it. So there could be many more mega ships coming in the future. Where they're going to put them all, I don't know, because they can only go to certain destinations, right? Big cruise ports. And so, yeah, I'm longing for some smaller ships out there. But I don't think that's the trend from any cruise line at the moment. Next, let's talk about a big hit to your wallet that the cruise lines are warning people about, in particular right now, Norwegian Cruise Line. Norwegian Cruise Line is sending out warnings to everybody. Remember, they're the only cruise line that has a cruise ship home ported in Hawaii. And Hawaii, back earlier this year, instituted their transient tax. What they normally would put on a hotel, they've now included cruise ships. And it is broken down 11% state tax and 3% for each county is allowed to put it, but they're all doing it, so it's 14%. So people are now seeing huge increases to their cruise if they're sailing after January. Cruise lines are warning them, we're putting this on your bill. It's written right in the contract. If the port fees and things like that go up, the cruise lines have the right to add it. And so people are starting to see bills added on to their of anywhere between $250 to $500 more for their cruise, and even higher. For example, if your cruise fare is $1,000, that means with the tax it's going to now be $1,140, an increase of $140. If your cruise cabin is $5,000, which is not hard to do on a Hawaiian cruise, that fee goes up to $700. So you can see how significant of an increase that is. And you're not getting anything new for your cruise. You're not getting anything added to the value of your cruise. You're just going to the destination you would already plan to go to. So yeah, people are not happy, and I foresee in the future people deciding not to go to Hawaii anymore because of this tax. Now, it is going through the courts. It is being legislated. They're calling it unconstitutional. It's never been done in any state ever before, and Hawaii is trying to add this to the hotel industry, which of course cruise ships don't use land on. They rent already. They already pay port fees for the use of the docks, etc. So this is going to be an interesting court case when it goes, but it can take months, if not years, to go through the court, right? How long has that fight in Bar Harbor been going on? Years, right? So this can go on for years as well. So be prepared. If you're going to Hawaii, you could be paying a lot more in the future. Finally, let's talk about if you think cruising's slowing down or not. But before I get there quickly, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from the new taxes, what might be affecting your price of your cruise, to destinations that you might want to avoid in the future because of taxes, to new ships coming online, to destinations, to itinerary changes because of storms, I'll try and keep you as best informed as I can. Hopefully make your cruise just a little easier, a little safer, and even save you some money in the long run. I really do appreciate it. It really does help the channel when you hit the icon, you'll hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe so much that it hits the algorithm on YouTube, and it really does help it out. And it doesn't cost anything, just a click of a button. All right, let's talk about cruising in 2026. A lot of people were hoping, you know what, everyone jumped on the bandwagon kind of thing after the COVID and everything. We all wanted to travel, and cruising just went with all the new mega ships and everything. Everybody was bringing out big ships. Norwegian had a new ship. The World America came out. We had the Icon of the Seas comes out. Now the Star of the Seas. We had the Princess, Sun Princess, and then now we have the Star. We have big ships coming out. New Celebrity XL. Everybody was excited to jump on these ships. Well, they're all out now. Have we got it out of our system? Well, it doesn't look like it for Americans. Despite the economic outlook right now and the things that are going on with the government shutdown, etc., and the prices rising, it's expected that 1 in 16 Americans are going to go on a cruise in 2026. 1 in 16. That, 333 million Americans or more now. That's a lot of cruisers just out of the United States alone, by far the biggest country in the world that cruises. And the cruise industry is hoping that these numbers hold true, especially with all these new mega ships being built and coming out in the next few years. Let me know in the comment down below, are you planning to go to Hawaii anytime soon? And would a 14% extra tax on top of your cruise decide whether or not, yes, I'm going to take that cruise? If you have a cruise book, would that made you maybe consider canceling that cruise now? It's a tough decision. It's a very, very tough decision. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.